This episode is sponsored by the Slang Self-Doubt Prayer Journal. Over the past 4 years, I have had the opportunity to help over 30 women identify, accept, and take action in the parts of their lives where they feel stuck. My heart's desire is to do that with every woman I come in contact with, but the truth is that's not realistic. So instead, I created a prayer journal that goes through that same journey. The Slang Self-Doubt Prayer Journal is designed for you to dig deep and answer questions that will pull out where you are stuck on your journey. The Slang Self-Doubt Prayer Journal consists of 6 sections of journal prompts and areas for reflections for when you want to dig a little deeper and just take your thoughts to another level. Whether it takes you 6 weeks or 6 months to complete, I promise you will not regret it. Head on over to my website at www.feliciawallace.com and select the books tab to make your purchase. If you are ready to find your fears and slay them, go to www.feliciawallace.com, select books, and get your copy today. You're listening to the Slang Self-Doubt Podcast with Coach Felicia, where we empower Black women to overcome their doubts, fears, and insecurities in order to give birth to their God-given purpose. Join me and sometimes some of my friends on our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I'm Felicia Wallace, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Welcome back to another episode of the Slang Self-Doubt Podcast. I am here with Sherrell Duncan, the CEO of The Good Thick and Miss Forever Duncan. Okay. If y'all don't know, y'all about to find out. Hey, Sherrell, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to be here. I see that we have a lot of mutual people in common, and so it was only right that we found each other. So
yes, sometimes that is just the way the this area is. If y'all, we PG County DMV girls, like that's the way the area runs. Yeah. So I know you from Miss Forever Duncan. I watched the whole thing play out, and I remember just being like, I don't know how I would have felt, but I am so excited for her. I was like, the dress was bad. Okay, everything was. And so when I saw it all play out, I was like, wait a minute, that took some planning, some time, and all those things. And then y'all just blew up everything. And I was like, every time I see y'all, I'm just like, y'all deserve, it is all love, all of those things. And so I don't, sometimes people don't know that when you're doing stuff, you just walking in, you just lifing, right? You doing your thing and you don't recognize the people that you impact and the people that you touch. But it's so many people that I have talked to who aren't even from this area, who have seen y'all's story, who have seen different things and are, impacted and inspired by y'all. And so, I'm all about giving people their flowers while they are here. So thank y'all for, sharing your love and your story with us.
Thank you so much for all those accolades. It means so much. Forever Duncan was a huge moment in our lives. We did not expect the world to know us for our love. So it's 2 parts to it, right? Because my husband wanted to surprise me and marry me in the same day. One of his reasons was so that I wouldn't be stressed out because he knows how I get when I have to plan anything. Because I am an overthinker and I like to do things to perfection. And so if I had to plan my wedding day, I probably wouldn't be here today because it would have driven me into a grave. Like planning a wedding, no thank you. Never I want to do that.
And even with you saying that, it would have delayed whenever it because what we think of as perfection, when you say that overthinking and perfection, I'm like, that delays every single thing that we're supposed to be doing because it'll never be right. It'll never be right.
Cancels everything out. So I'm forever grateful to him for sparing me that stressful moment. Right. And so, but it did so much to us individually and collectively, right? It showed us who we are and whose we are for real, like in real life, outside of the viral sensations and outside of all of the travel and outside of all of the things that we endured during that time.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for just having those experiences, that knowledge, and just the power over saying no to certain things, right?
Ooh.
Because that Forever Duncan created so many things, not just a marriage, but it created um it showed us how to do business, right?
Yeah.
How showed us our worth and
Mhm.
who we are, and we don't have to submit to anything or anybody because they seem like they're a higher power than us. So
Yeah.
girl, that's a whole
I
nother
listen, that you
episode.
right. That's a whole but even in that was just enough to be like, I understand exactly what it is that you're saying. So the people don't know, all the people don't know who you are. So if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and just how you got started, just in all your journeys, right? Because it's not just Forever Ducking, it's the Good Thick, it is Sherrell the woman, all of those things. So let's talk about that.
Oh girl, how much time we got? So my name is Sherrell Duncan. I am the CEO and founder of The Good Thick. The Good Thick is a health and wellness organization that is changing the narrative to fitness. I have on staff, I have 8 trainers, different trainers. I have a yoga trainer. I have my twin sisters, my blood twin sisters, who teaches my 5 a.m. hit class. And they just now added a midday drip workout. I have a strength and cardio instructor, Empower Her Fitness. Shout out to all of my trainers.
Let's
All of my
go.
trainers, most of my trainers started out as my clients. And
Wow.
I encouraged them to become a trainer. I got them certified. Like, I encouraged them to just level up,
Yeah.
right? But I had a talk with them like, is this something you really want to do? Because when you're jumping into fitness, you really have to have a passion for it, right?
Yeah.
Because you have people's lives in the palm of your hand. You have people's dreams, their
Mhm.
goals,
Mhm.
their resolutions,
Yeah.
all of these things are in your hands. Like okay, ultimately it relies on what they do, but they become so dependent on
Yeah.
your training and your professionalism that you kind of like take on their things, right?
Right.
So you have to be prepared for it. So that's what the Good Thick is. It's a virtual, it started out as in person, but then when the pandemic hit and
Mhm.
after I had my baby in 2020, and nobody could go outside, we were stuck in the
You're
house. I
stuck
was
in
like,
the
you know
house.
what? Let me do everything virtual. And so now it's just all virtual. We do some in-person workouts because I am the proud sponsor of Tanger Outlets here in National Harbor.
Let's go.
So yes, thank you so much. So our spring and summer sessions are coming up. In next month in June and July, we have all of our sessions coming up at Tanger. So you'll see about that. Just make sure that you're following the Good Thick for the dates.
Yeah.
I'll have all of my trainers out there, my yoga trainers, and it's gonna be lit. So that's the Good Thick. The Good Thick actually started. It came from, oh God, the good that came from some trauma and trials in my,
Mm.
it started with my own story. Most things that you see me do have
Yeah.
started from a testimony of myself. This is not something that I've seen somebody do, so I want to try it myself. Everything that I have done and that I am doing has stemmed from something in my own lifestyle. And so the good thick started from me being depressed, trying to take my life.
Mm.
After having my first baby, Gabby, I never call her Gabriella. My first baby, Gabby, and just being in an unhealthy situation. And so I started drinking heavily, like extremely heavily. Drinking is a generational curse in my family
Mm.
already. So it was easy to
Yeah.
drink, right? So I was hospitalized, and my brother at the time, he told me that enough is enough,
Yeah.
right? And it's time to take my life back. And so he started training me. He wasn't a real trainer, but he just enjoys fitness a lot.
Yeah.
And so he started working me out and working out with me and just showing me different ways, nutrition and all this other stuff. And so in 2013, that's how far back it goes.
Mm.
In 2013, that year I lost over 100 pounds and I developed a love for fitness. Right?
Yes.
People were so inspired by my story and inspired about how vulnerable and transparent I was, because before that I was a model management and club promoter in the DMV. So everybody knew me as big, having a bad body, curves and flex,
Yeah.
big butt, like, all the bad models and all that other stuff. But then when I got pregnant, I kind of like hid, right? And no more social media for me, right? No more social media. I wasn't posting, and people was checking for me like, where's Sherrella? Because back then I was known as Sherrella Labella. And so people were checking for me, and I would only post, like, just hold your phone all the way up and just have your face.
Yes, just
Those type of
from the
pictures.
neck up.
Exactly, because I had gotten over 300 pounds. So I was so ashamed of my body, right? I was so ashamed of my body, and very doubtful of
Yeah.
how I can like put out my goodness into the world, right? Now, I was so unsure of my attributes at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just couldn't do it anymore. So when my brother um noticed that I wasn't on Instagram or Facebook at the time or whatever, he was like, look, we gotta get you together.
Yeah.
And so, after, that was in 2012, 2013, I started to get my life back, and I started to lose weight. And then I was back out here in these streets, back on Instagram,
Yes.
showing my little, my body and everything, and showing how I was dedicated to my own healing, and really, like, I had been in some terrible relationships. And so I really, really had to get myself together. I was in a very manipulative, narcissistic relationship, where I was locked in a basement,
Oh,
like those type of things. Like, it was just, I had been through some very traumatic experiences
yeah.
led up to me finally breaking down and like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then when I
Yeah.
had baby, right? Because in my mind, my plan was, I'm never having a baby. I'm never getting married. I'm gonna travel. I had literally just got a contract to go to Miami with some models and do all of these different magazine covers, videos and stuff. And then I get pregnant, right? So it was just so much. And so the good thick saved my life. It saved my life. So once I started to lose weight, I started to hate the job that I was working in Baltimore. And one day I was just like, I'm done with this job. I knew that they were going to fire me eventually. So I was like, I gotta get up out of here.
Right. Let me go before you
Yeah,
let me go.
when I left that job, I put up a post on Instagram, and I was like, I'm doing a boot camp at Walker Mill Park this Saturday for $5. I wasn't even a trainer yet. I had been trained so much that I had
Yeah.
gotten of it. And I realized how to move my body and how to maneuver my body, how to tone my body and things like that. I put up a post and I was just like, if you want to come, just meet me there. It's $5. And I had so many women, like over 50 women. And I was like, this how I'm gonna make money.
Yep.
This is how I'm going to make money. So I then went and got certified. I went and took the test to get certified. I did not pass the first time because I didn't know all the technical stuff.
Yeah.
So then I was like, damn, I gotta study. So I started to study, took the test again, and I got certified. And then I started to do the things that I thought that I need to do to solidify this business, the good thick. And then I just went full force, and I have not turned back since 2013. And the good thick has been my baby. Even though I put it on the back burner for Forever Duncan, it has always been a huge part of my life.
Yeah, that it's so much. First of all, thank you for sharing your story with us. Like, I think one of the things that in doing this show and in slaying self-doubt is like being able to tell the truth about yourself, right? And tell the truth about whatever it is that we've been through, because that's what led us to where we are today. And when you can do that, and what you said was like getting your healing allowed you to birth what it was that you were supposed to do for other people, right? But also you said everything that you've done has come out of something that has happened to, like, it's personal, right? And so when it is personal to you, and when it is the thing that, like, when you think about it, you know where you were, right? You know how you felt in that moment. And so you continue to fight to make sure that I don't ever get back there, right? And so in order for me to do that, I have to keep going forward. And we even then that like your story inspired other women to be able to see, because there's so many of us who can see ourselves in you and see ourselves in other women. And a lot of times, for me, it's like it don't always have to be like some celebrity or some person that you see on TV. It is the person that's literally next door, the person who is in your area, who is making a change for the better for themselves. That we can gain inspiration from, to be able to just be the best version of ourselves, not to be Sherrell, not to be the next whatever, but be the best, whoever it is that God called us to be. And so even out of your pain, you walked right into your purpose, right? And that is what is continuing to keep you on. And so one of the things that you mentioned was just how you were struggling during that season. And so, my very first question always is, how has self-doubt showed up in your journey? If you've been listening to this podcast or following me on social media for a while and you're ready to start your journey to healing, or you're ready to confront your doubts and insecurities, there are 3 ways I can help. First, you can download the journal prompt from my website. Use this as a guide to get back on track with where God is calling you. Secondly, you can go to my website and purchase the Slaying Self-Doubt Prayer Journal. Using this prompt and journal will pull out where you are stuck on your journey. These questions will force you to dig deep and find your fears. Lastly, if you're ready to invest in your healing journey and work directly with me, book a 30-minute connection call with me today. This allows us to see if we are a good fit for each other. So head on over to my website, www.feliciawallace.com, to do one or all 3 of these. That's www.feliciawallace.com. Now, back to the show.
I've always been a very confident person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny. I was just telling my husband about our daughter and I was describing her. And one of the words I was about to use was resilience. And then I was like, hell no, I don't even want to put that word on her.
Mm.
Because I've always been so resilient. And the reason I've been resilient is because I've had to overcome, I've had to just stay in this struggle narrative.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
to stay in this financial struggle, emotional struggle,
Mm-hmm.
mental struggle, right? Even though in the front of my mind, I'm so confident, but
Yeah.
in the back of my mind, fear was tearing me apart, right?
Mm.
But because I knew I've always had people watching me, one of the things that I would do is adhere to people pleasing. And
Mm-hmm.
so doing that, I would go above and beyond, right? Above and beyond
Yeah.
to create something or and oh gosh, because and Lord Jesus. And so that's why I know that everything that I've done has really come from the reality of myself because
Mm-hmm.
some of the things I put on me because of this,
Mm.
right? Some of the
Yeah.
things I put myself, like just like I was saying earlier, me being locked into that basement with that man and allowing him to be to manipulate me, that was the most doubtful time I had in my entire life
Yeah.
because I knew this isn't you.
Yeah.
So much better than this. You can go and live with your parents in Bowie. You can go,
Yeah.
you had their whole basement was yours. Why are you here laying in this twin bed in this basement in this house? And he's locking you in this basement and he has a cat. I am petrified of all pets. He would leave me in that basement with a cat and a bucket to use the bathroom. And it was
Mm.
so bad because his mother would bring food around and give me fruit. You know how the houses in DC and in Arlington had like bars, the
Oh
bars.
yeah, that on the windows. Yeah.
She would give me food through the bars. And I just was like, I'm never going to make it out of here. I'm never going to do the things that I've wanted to do because now I have to be here with him. I always in my mind felt like I had to save him. And the
Mm.
reason I felt like I had to save him, it was because it's no way he feels like it's okay to treat me like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that was one of the most doubtful times of my life. And I'm still to this day kind of healing from that.
Mhm. Mhm.
I found myself at one point like this is why I feel like this because I was still holding on to parts of
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I use that as fuel now. Like, you are way more than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah.
You are so worthy. Like my husband, and I, women, I've said this, and women are like, oh no, you shouldn't let a man dictate who you are. But sometimes, right? Sometimes it takes not just a man, but it takes someone sent
Yeah.
from God, right?
Yeah.
A disciple, an angel sent from the kingdom to show you who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to say this is who I am and the reason you deserve me because I'm the bomb,
Yeah.
but you deserve me because I deserve you.
Yes.
You're so
Yes.
worthy. You're so worthy, right? And so my husband came along, and the way he like loved me and cared for me and like was so gentle with my heart and so
Mm-hmm.
honest with me, it changed my life, right? It started a whole new healing process for myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
aware that I could do without therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that doubt like slowly but surely started to vanish.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the levels, like I was all the way high up on the ladder, and I just slowly but surely saw myself like taking myself down, because at
Yeah.
first I'm sitting on top of the ladder, like doubt, so much doubt,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Doubtful. And then with the words of affirmations and the actions, and him taking the mirror and saying, hey, this is who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are. And my parents and my brothers and sisters will always pour into me, but it's sometimes you're so used to them, right? You know that they just doing it because they love you and they
Right.
have
You
to
take
do
it
it
for
all of it.
granted. Yeah,
Exactly.
you take it for granted. You like, you supposed to say that because you my mother. You supposed to say that
Exactly.
because you but
My
when
dad.
someone
Yep.
who doesn't know you, who doesn't have any obligation, who has a choice, and they
Yep.
still choose to love you with your
Yep.
mess, with
Yep.
your stuff, that it hits differently when
It-
someone else says, I know what you've been through. I know the hurt that you have, and I'm going to be gentle with you.
yeah.
And I'm going, like, you are what he created was a safe space.
Yep.
And it allowed you to be able to blossom. And I know a lot of, like you said, sometimes people say things like, even I tell my husband, I don't need you, right? Because I don't ever want to need anybody. I've been in that space where I've needed another person. Like, what am I supposed to do without them? I
Mhm.
want him, and I want him to want me, all of me, the whole me, the real me, the person that you may not like today, but you're gonna love tomorrow, because
Yeah.
it's all of me. But being in that space allowed, like you said, the same. It allowed me to grow. Like I always tell people, I have people that ask, like, how are you able to, continue to do slang? I was like, it's my husband. Like
Yeah.
because of his support, because he believes in me, because there are days where my self-doubt be like, girl, if you don't just go back to work, girl, if
Yeah.
you don't just
Woo!
just put this down and wait later because it's not moving. And he
Yeah.
will say, like, are you finished? Have you
Yeah.
done everything that you can? And if my answer is no, you do not walk away until you've done everything that you can. And you need people like that in your corner that is just going to be able to say, like, I see what you're doing. I see you.
So I'm going to kind of challenge you on the need thing, right? So I hear people say, I don't need anybody, and I get it. But how I feel about my husband is that I know that one day one of us will leave this earth before the other, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I know that I need my husband's spirit. Our
Mm.
spirits are so intertwined. I
Yeah.
need his spirit. His physical being, yes, I want that all the time. But his spirit is what carries me. The
Mm.
spirit that God has put into him, that carries me, that
Yeah.
helps me, that fulfills me, that makes me feel so good knowing that even if he's in a bad mood, I know that his spirit is still in me. His
Mm-hmm.
soul ties, we have connected soul ties that I never want to let go of.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
never
feel
want
that.
to let go of. And it just it fulfills me, and it fills me up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like my husband's spirit is so important to me that I do need his spirit. I need
Mm.
his spirit, and I know that it will forever be in me regardless of where we go.
Yeah.
Because of the person that he is and how God has created the unit, the our unit, right?
Yeah.
And so I I don't say that I don't need my husband. I just say that I choose him every day, because
Yeah.
we don't have to choose each other.
That
We
is
don't
that is
have to like
facts.
each other, right? We
Yeah.
don't have to like each. Some days I don't like my husband. Some days he don't like me.
Yeah.
But I love, and I will always love him and his spirit and like
Yeah.
his spirit, because that's what I saw when I got married. When Forever Duncan happened, when I walked into that room, when they took the blindfold off me, I'll never forget that feeling. And I forget a lot of stuff. I forget people. I forget names. Girl, I forget situations. Girl, I forget so much. But I will never forget that day when they took the blindfold off of me. And it was so, the room was over 300 people, almost 400 people. But through that, I saw him.
Yeah.
And when I saw him, I was like, thank you, God. Because all
Mm.
I can remember him and I having a conversation, and he was used to tell me, I wish I can hear God the way you hear God. Or I wish I
Mm.
could feel God's spirit the way you feel God's spirit. And before he was even my husband, I prayed for him to have
Yeah.
that, to feel that, because I felt like he's a man of God, right? But he didn't have the navigation system to get him to that place
Right.
to feel that love. And even though God was always outpouring that love on him, he never really had it, right? And so
Yeah.
I prayed for him to have it. And on that day, I seen it. I felt
Mm.
it. Like, I wish people, non-believers or whoever, and I know the believers feel me, but I wish that everyone would feel me on that, because that's a real thing. That's not like bullshit. That's a real
Yeah.
thing. Like, it scared me almost. Like, oh my God. Like, that's why it literally took me like 30. No one seen this in the video, but they had to loop our song maybe 5 times, because it took me so long to get on. But I tell you, I was jumping up and down. I was crawling on the floor. It was a mess getting me down the aisle. My father was telling me, girl, if you don't come on, you know my back hurting. I'm sweating. My father was sweating the entire time. His whole shirt was soaking wet. His knees were swollen. It was so much going on. But so yeah, the doubtfulness is so far and few in between now.
Mm.
Because of the help that I have, not just from my husband, but my village. My
Mm-hmm.
village pours into me, my tribe, they pour into me. And the days where I feel like it may be creeping up, I jump my ass up out that bed so fast, girl, and I'll go outside on my deck, or I'll write, or I'll play a song, and I'll get myself like, all right,
Yeah.
come on, because the
You
enemy
can't.
loves
Yep.
to mess with you. The enemy loves it. And so I always gotta show him that I'm gonna always have the best hand.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Like, if when it does come up, because as we continue to grow and as we continue to level up and whatever it is that God is calling us to do, we don't always feel like ready. Like, wait a minute, Lord, can we pause for like maybe like 30 seconds? Can we wait
Yep,
a little bit before we
yep,
go? And a lot of times he is that push that you feel behind you, like, no, no, now, no,
yeah.
now. And so that doubt will come up. But I was going to ask, what are some practical tips that you would give our listeners who are having that find themselves in those moments? And you said, get up out the bed. Sometimes that's all you got to do is just get up.
Brush your teeth, wash your face, and look yourself in the mirror. I have, for years, I stopped looking at myself in the mirror.
Mm.
Like, literally, like the physical mirror. I stopped, and I would, how your bathroom, I don't know about your bathroom, but my bathroom door is maybe about 3 or 4 feet away from the mirror.
Yeah.
So instead of me standing directly over top of my sink and looking into the mirror, I would stand at the door and fix my hair or put my
Oh,
lipstick
so you
on, or
couldn't see it,
so
your
I
whole.
couldn't really see my whole
Yeah.
face. Like,
Mm.
I can see it, but when you get up in that mirror, girl,
Yeah.
that's a whole different vision. That's a whole different view
You
from
see your
standing in
whole
the mirror.
self.
You see your
Yes.
whole self. And so get closer and closer. And I know it's people out here that feel that. Get
Mm-hmm.
closer to that mirror and get to know you and speak life into you. Say your name. Like,
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, I love you, Sherrell. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Sherrell, this is what you gonna do. Like, and I talk to myself in the mirror, because honestly, depression. I was clinically diagnosed with depression, and they wanted to give me medicine and all this other stuff. And I said, I'll be damned if I do this to myself. I'm not going to self medicate because of the hardships that I have in my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can control this with prayer, with affirmations, and with intention.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It's going to be uncomfortable. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to seem crazy, right? For
Yep.
talking to yourself.
Yep.
You're going to seem crazy for even answering it. I hear people say, you ain't crazy if you talk to yourself, but if you answer yourself, then you need to go see somebody. But why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is what is going to help you get your day started, then do that. And I know it's been times where I couldn't get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was literally stuck in the bed. Like, I can't do it. I'm
Yeah.
afraid to get out of this bed. I'm afraid of all of the ways I'm going to fail today
Mm.
because of how mm, I'm afraid of all the ways I'm going to fail today because of all the ways that I will self
Mm.
sabotage and run from all the things that are meant for me today. I don't even know if I'm worthy of these things.
I'm giving you the Regina Hall right now because OMG, like in real life, that gave me chills because that is exactly what we do. We
Yeah.
self-sabotage. We talk ourselves. When I started this journey, I said, oh, I can talk myself out of anything. If I'm hungry, I will tell myself enough times, you don't need to eat. You're
Mhm,
okay. You can just
mhm,
survive off of air, like
mhm.
whatever it is. And my body would just do it, right? It would just do it. And then I would wonder why, dang, I ain't ate all day. Well, that's because you told yourself for 24 hours you didn't need to eat because
Yeah,
something else was more important. Somebody else's need was
yeah,
important of your nutrition, right?
yeah,
Like it sounds crazy now, but having to tell yourself that for whatever reason, however it comes up, whatever the reason for it when it first starts, like you have to break yourself out that habit. And when you said the was talking about the mirror thing, I thought about it and I was like, I've had 3 episodes of Bell's palsy, and for a long time I didn't look in the mirror either. Like my
yeah,
eye was crooked, my face was droopy. Like if I did it, I had to like do these exercises. But eventually, like all the things that I could think of, that I was like, oh, I'm gonna go give me some Botox. I'm gonna try to fix it. I'm gonna try to do all these things to fix my face. And it really wasn't until I had to just look at myself and tell myself, even with your crooked face, you
you're
are
beautiful.
beautiful. Like I
Yeah,
had to tell my every morning, and so my nickname is Bunny. So I would just say, Bunny, you are beautiful. Bunny,
yes,
you are beautiful. I would smile and I'd be like, okay, it's not perfect, but it's yours. That's all it is. Until I got to the point where I was okay with it. And then I had to say it out loud. And once
mm,
I said it out loud to other people, like, this is my insecurity. When God first gave me this, I was like, you do know I got a crooked face, right? Like, I can't do this. I can't be the face of a business, a brand, or nothing. Like, who is like, why would anybody? I that talked myself out of kids. None of it even makes sense when you're in it, right? When you start talking yourself and you self-sabotage, I'm like, oh, I'll never get married because I have a crooked face. Like, what does that
I'm
now?
looking at you right now and I don't see a crooked face. I see you have beautiful, beautiful big eyes. I see that you have beautiful, clear skin. Your eyebrows are on point.
Thanks.
I don't see what you see. And that's the thing. We don't see
Mm-hmm.
what other people see in us.
Yes, yes,
And so I'm here to tell you that I don't see the crooked face. I see you, your skin is flawless, your eyes are beautiful, you are glowing. Like, that's what I see. I
yes.
don't
Thank
see
you.
what you see.
No,
So
and a lot of this self-doubt, when people have it, some of it is that people can't see, right? But for me, I used to pray it away. And I
yeah,
used to say, this is my thorn, Lord, whatever. I would be like, if you take this away, I will do whatever you want me to do, until I learned that this is why I have it, because
yeah,
it's my daily reminder that this is my self-doubt.
yeah,
Because I can see it, I still have to show up. I still have to come and do an interview. I still have to do whatever the speaking engagements are. I still have to talk to the people and tell them, if I can see this. Most people who don't know me from before when it happened, which was like 2002, I look normal to them. But for me, this isn't how I've always looked. And so this is my, like, I literally tell people every day that I wake up, I'm slaying self-doubt because I'm living it. You know what I'm saying? And so even with your story, like, you are living slaying self-doubt, because every time you say, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do this anyway.
Yeah.
Despite how I feel, despite the fact that I could possibly talk myself out of it, but I have learned to how to reverse that, right? I've learned what to say to myself to say, okay, yeah, well, she got to come with us. Like, come on, like, come on, fear, come on, self-doubt, come on, insecurity. We got an appointment at, 2:00. So
let's do it. You know, I have anxiety. My hands get real shaky and I get like this nervous feeling in my hand before I do anything. I had it before I talked to you today, because you know why? I am on an assignment. I am on a forever assignment from God, and the enemy cannot take it.
Yes.
Because he knows that every time I open my mouth, that the kingdom doors are going to open up. And it may not touch thousands, it may not touch a whole nation, but one person life will be changed and hope will be had.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And cannot stand when I open my mouth.
Yeah.
That's why I talk so loud. That's why I talk so bold. That's why I'm always as a matter of fact, when I speak, not because of people, but because of the enemy. I'm always going to let him know every time I open my mouth, I'm here to let you know that you have no power.
Yeah.
All the power lies in the spirit, right?
Yeah.
And you can't shut me up. You've shut me up for so many years. You shut me down. You had me laid out ready to die. You had me ready to take my life twice. And who am I to take my life? I am on an assignment, a serious assignment after assignment. And so the anxiety comes up, and I already know it's because I'm like, everybody knows I'm like, and this is so crazy. This is one of the things that I'll say why I attribute a lot of things to my husband. When we first got together, we would go to events and I would say, oh God, my hands, I'm so nervous. I got to go to the bathroom. I need my Tums or Rolaids or whatever. Right?
Yeah, something, right.
He would be like, you don't need that. You don't need that. But before him, everybody knew Sherrell need her Tums or Rolaids. We got to have it in the car. We got to have it wherever we going. Those people know that this is on her right. She needs this wherever she's going to be. Right? And so now I don't even remember the last time that I've taken Tums.
Yeah.
I just feel it and I'll say, oh God, I'm a little nervous. I don't even I say I'm having anxiety. I just say I'm just a little nervous. I'll be okay. And I'll shake it off. But yeah, I don't remember the last time I used Tums and Rolaids. So
that's a word right there. Yeah, shout out to the husband, okay? Because really, even when you said it, I thought about when you were talking about, like, I have the same thing. Like, I get anxiety. My kids have it. I see it in them as well. And I had to learn, some of it. I always say therapy and Jesus. Okay. I had to really get to a place where I had my therapist ask me, like, what is the feeling that you have when you're nervous? Because nervous and excitement sometimes bring up the same thing. And my distinction is that I still get the bubble guts. I start to sweat. My hands shake. I feel like I'm about to pass out. But the difference is, when I'm anxious and in a super nervous, I want to cry. Like, if it's just, I just gotta get it out. But if I'm excited, I want to laugh. And so I always have to ask myself, Bun, you want to laugh or you want to cry? Because that will determine which emotion I lean into. And if I want to laugh, then I tell myself all the reasons why I should be happy for this moment. Like, I know I'm happy. I know that the excitement, and it just like you said, it kind of go. And then I'm grateful and I thank God. Like, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this moment. Like, this is why I'm excited. If I'm nervous about something and I'm like, I just want to cry. Well, why you want to cry? Because this is all the things that I'm frustrated about or I'm worried about, and I need God to give me that peace. But once I was able to distinct that, I could pass that on to my kids when I seen it showing up in them, and I'd have to say, I need you to explain to me what this feeling is. Like, why do you have this emotion? What is it? Okay, if let yourself be happy, because how many times have we not let ourselves be happy because of other people and other things, where we have to like, like bring it down. Like, don't be too happy, don't be too proud, don't be, no, we shouting it from the mountaintop. Okay, like,
And the moment
especially
somebody tell me that type of stuff, girl, I'm like, you can't be with me. You can't come. You gotta go. Cause this is not, this ain't what I'm about. You gotta roll out. Cause what are you even talking about?
yes,
Why can't I
yes,
be happy? Why can't I be this? You gotta go. Like,
yeah.
I don't even want you around me. Like,
We
girl,
don't
I'm
need
just
none of that.
so quick. When I see a red flag, because I'm so used to staying in friendships and relationships overlooking red flags. And in the end, when I'm hurt, I wonder why. And I put it on me. I
Yeah.
don't blame that person. I put it on me. Like, you stayed in that. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? You saw
Yeah.
that it was messed up. You saw that it was, yeah, they did you wrong. They did some things, but you stayed in
You
that.
stay, yeah, you maintain that. No, I feel you. So what have you learned about yourself during this journey that you didn't know before? Did you hear that ad at the beginning of the show? If you're a business owner looking to expand your reach, you can promote your company or product with a host read pre-roll or mid-roll ad by me on the Slang Self-Doubt podcast. If you want more information, email info@FeliciaWallace.com. That's info@FeliciaWallace.com. Now, back to the show.
Um, that I'm smarter than I've given myself credit for.
Mm,
That I didn't have to be a college graduate to succeed.
yeah.
Um, and I didn't have to keep up with the aesthetic of the fluffiness on Instagram to be my authentic self.
Yeah.
Um, and that I've done everything just the way I was supposed to do it, to learn the things that I've learned and go through the things that I've gone through and have the experiences that I've had, good, bad, or indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
I needed it. I needed all of it. And it wasn't a mistake. It was just my life.
Yeah.
It was my life. And I don't have to be so hard on myself for
Mm.
being in certain situations. I just can congratulate myself on making it and learning from it and realizing that there was a lesson in that and that
Yeah.
I learned that lesson, right? But if
Yeah.
I have to keep on going, taking the test over and over and over again, then I know that I'm doing something wrong. So I have to revisit those
Yeah.
things. Um, I've learned so much. I've grown so much. I see myself even 2 years ago, and I'm like, damn, I'm so proud of me.
Mm.
I am so proud of me. And it took me a long time to actually say those words and not
Yeah.
feel like I'm not being humble.
Mm.
But I'm like, why would I want to why would I want to dumb myself down? Like,
Right.
please, I'm it, period.
Yes.
No matter who sees it or who knows it, I'm it. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So those are the things that I've learned in this. And I've also learned to just be so kind to myself because I deserve kindness.
Yeah.
You know, I deserve kindness because I could be so hard on myself as a mom, especially. That's where I'm most hard on myself
Yeah.
as a mom, because I'm responsible for these human beings.
Girl.
And I just don't want, you know, to be the reason that my children need therapy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I just don't want to be that, you know.
Yeah, no,
And
I can echo that. I think that that's one of the things that I've always said I'm most proud of, like our generation, is that like we are recognizing that we can do things differently and it's okay, right? And we want better for our kids. And there's conversations that are happening in households today that were not happening when we was kids, that we had to figure out on our own the hard way. And
yeah,
now we're like, listen, let me tell you, like me and my oldest son just got is about to go to high school, and so that's a whole different transition, and
yeah,
the conversations are completely different, right? And so we were having we were watching a show yesterday, and My husband tells me like, y'all don't be a bum dude. And I say, and also don't mess with no bum girl. Like, like I was like, cause girls can be bums too. Girls can take advantage of people. And I'm like, there's sometimes there's certain conversations that happens where I was raised in an old girl household. So it was always about guys, right? Like, this is what you should be aware of, but never about the females who are just as, if not worse. And so I'm like, oh no, you're gonna get both sides of this. Like, we are gonna have honest conversations so that my goal always is, I say, I want y'all to walk into the world as like, that is my job, to make sure that you are as whole as you can be, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. That is my job, not just in one area. I need you to be able to show up as your whole as a functioning adult man, Black man. That's what I need for you. So that means that it starts with us. And so when they're watching me, like, I'm like, oh, mommy got therapy, y'all go do whatever. They're like, you still see? I sure do, because I sure do, because there's things about me I want to understand. Why do I saw this quote a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, why do I immediately operate in fear? Like, I needed to dig deeper into that. Like, what is it about it? And some of it came up is that I'm just a perfectionist. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was me. But now that I thought, once I went through it, I realized, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it's like, you have to dig deeper into yourself to figure out those things. And even as you were talking about the things that you learned about yourself, like being proud of yourself, being gentle with yourself. We are hard on ourselves because society is hard on us. And the expectation of how we are supposed to show up, I don't know who set these rules, but no, thank you.
No, thank you. Leave me out of it.
Yeah, I'm over here. Let me just mind my bald-headed Black business, and then y'all go ahead over there and do your own thing.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah, so let's talk about Sherrell Duncan. What is it that when people want to get connected with you? I know you talked about the Good Thick. Y'all are doing you are doing so many different things between the podcast, the Good Thick. You got the Tangier, the bridge. You got the bridge, right? It's the bridge, the Woodger bridge, like all the things. So let's talk about all things Sherrell Duncan.
So one of the things right now that's really high up on the list is Friends Who Smash podcast, my husband and I podcast. It airs every Thursday. It is one of the best things that has ever happened to both of us. It is,
y'all be so real, and I'll be cracking up.
raw and very transparent. So I always feel, hey saints, if you one of them holier than thou saints, you
turn off.
You may want to listen. Because these are some of the things that you want to talk about, but you're afraid to talk about.
I know that's right.
The other folks in the church gonna probably damn you to hell. But we talk about very, very raw and real things with marriage, right? Because people have it so tainted that marriage is one way.
Yeah.
Not everybody's marriage is different, right?
Absolutely.
I used to think that marriage is what I saw with my mom and dad, but that's not the marriage that I want. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And my husband goes out and work, and then I gotta come home and have his dinner and all this. Like I cook and he's gonna have dinner, but I'm not a stay-at-home mom. Even though I work from home, that's not who I am. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I gotta cook, I gotta clean, I gotta do all this, and I got all these responsibilities, and then I don't have no time for me. I gotta take care of the kids, make sure the kids are good, make sure this is good. That's not who I am. That's not who I want to be, right? Because I am a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a full-time mom, a full-time entrepreneur, a full-time wife. So when do I have full-time self-time?
Yeah.
Right? So when do I have that? Right. So the podcast just allows us, it is honestly therapy for the both of us, because all of the things that we talk about on there are not rehearsed. I do a run a show, like come up with questions, but like, as you know, it can go
anywhere.
Sometimes we disagree on there. Sometimes we agree to disagree. Most times we see each other. We meet each other in the middle.
Yeah.
And we talk about things that people are very afraid to talk about. We talk about sex and fantasies and anything imaginable with relationships. We talk about. We are relationship case studies, my husband and I. And so on that podcast, you never know what you're going to get. So anybody who is interested in hearing about marriage, we have guests on every other week, and then every other week is him and I. But Friends Who Smash podcast is top of the list. The Good Thick is um, always open for new registration. We also have one of the things that we're doing with the Good Thick is we're giving cash prize. We're doing a return on investment, so ROI. So anybody that signs up at the end of the cohort, and we do it by seasons.
Mm-hmm.
The person who has lost the most weight and can show it will win up to $1,200 for first place, along with a makeover, a photo shoot,
Let's
um,
go.
massage, a free stretch from the Stretch Loft, a bunch of different things. The second place winner will win $200 and a bunch of other stuff, and then the third place winner will win a bunch of stuff. I have so many people that have sponsored
Yeah.
through the Pop Thickens. That's what the hashtag is, the Pop Thickens. And so many people have sponsored their products, free products, money,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things. So if you're interested in really healing, because that's the main goal at the Good Thick, is healing from the inside out. If you're interested in that, you can visit thegoodthicktraining.com and enter to win the Pop Thickens. And then what else do I have going on? Lord Jesus, I have so much. So I will be this weekend. I will be in Times Square because I'll be on the cover of a magazine. I can't say yet.
Yes. Oh no, we have to wait for the big reveal.
Wait for the big reveal this weekend. I'll be in Times Square. I'll be posting about it. I'm on the cover of a magazine, and it comes. It's released on Mother's Day, which is so
Yes.
awesome to me, and that means so. It makes me so emotional for it to come out on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Because of how I feel about, being a mom and just being recognized as a mom and being on the cover of a magazine for that means a lot. I'm not only just a mom, but being a mom is one of my most important things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that's Friends Who Smash podcast has a live, we have our live shows. We have so much stuff coming out. I can't talk about it right now.
I listen. That means that y'all got to get connected, get tuned in, so that y'all know what is happening. I'm
Yes.
already connected to all the things, so I already know where to find you. But where can the people find you, Sherrell? Where can they find all the things that you are doing?
Okay, so the good thick training.com is for the health and wellness portion of my life. Friendswhosmash.com is for the podcast. And the merch me and my husband have, and the we have a agency called Duncan Planning Agency, where we help couples to surprise their mates, to plan date nights, to do retreats,
Nice.
to do all the things involving like love, intimacy, and like just a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else? Yeah, so francesmass.com, thegoodthicktraining.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, Sherrell the Trainer, and Friends Who Smash Podcast, and The Good Thick on Instagram.
Yes. I want y'all to know that this is like one of the things that I in this moment, and I know it was the Holy Spirit, was like, this is proof that you don't have to just be one thing. You do
Yeah.
not have to put all your like there, all of this is you, right?
Yeah.
And all of it is parts of you and pieces of you. And we have a tendency sometimes to just be like, well, I can only do this one thing. And there's so many things that need us. We don't you but you got to be tapped into what your, like you say, what your assignment is, because you
Yes.
don't know where you're supposed to go. So I just thank you for your obedience. Thank you for your yes at whatever time that you say yes, because who you are impacting in your health and wellness with the Good Thick, in these marriages with the Friends Who Smash podcast. And I love the name of it because it is
You.
so like, it's so y'all, right? It's like very like real. And then just what you're doing in the community, like just showing up as a woman altogether. So thank you so much, Sherrell, for being on the show. I appreciate you. And yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me. I just wanted to encourage you. I love the name of your podcast. And I love the fact that you are being intentional about slaying your self doubt by constantly saying the words,
Mm-hmm.
actually putting the words, making it your business, to make it your business,
Yeah.
to slay your self-doubt, because
Yeah.
you are absolutely beautiful. Your spirit is beautiful. It shines so bright. Your energy is so good. And I know a lot of times we get so caught up in our own physical things that we see,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see that. And I don't think the world sees what you see. And so I'm just encouraging you and rooting for you to continue to slay self-doubt. And it was so genius of you to name your podcast Slaying Self-Doubt, so that you constantly are manifesting that you are every day like less doubtful the day before,
Mm-hmm.
the day before.
Well, I received all of that. Thank you very much. But I can say that that was not a part of the plan. The Lord gave me the phrase and I was like, I don't even know what this means. And it literally took me until last year to really say, oh, this is an action. This
Yeah.
is literally an action. And recently someone said, the name of your podcast, you don't even realize it is an affirmation. Even
Yep.
if you put I am slangs, and I was just like,
Yep.
sheesh, that is the power of saying of your yes. Like you don't
Yep.
even know what you are committing to when you tell God, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever, like just use me, I'm gonna do it. But
Yep.
it's taken me this long to be like, oh no, this is actually what I'm doing. This is like, this is me slaying like this. I am slaying self-doubt, right?
Yep.
Like literally is what it actually is. So I received that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so awesome.
Oh,
Thank
you
you.
are welcome. All right, y'all, that's all for this week. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review. Remember to head over to Facebook and Instagram and follow me at Slaying Self-Doubt. Oh, wait, don't forget, go to my YouTube channel and watch this episode, and remember to press the subscribe button. Until next week, see ya.